Hi everyone, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you very, very much for being here. If you by some chance did not see Monday's video, what I was looking at there was the Wall Street Journal, the Murdoch situation, the $10 billion lawsuit that Trump has filed. So that's that. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at CBS. So this is the thing, this is just, and I'm not privy to all the details, and God knows my brain is a little flaky sometimes, but this is what I can tell you. So CBS, I think, just recently paid something like a $16 million something to Trump. And I wish I knew why, but he sued them basically, and in that case, for whatever, he won. But that wasn't enough. So apparently the next thing he wanted was Colbert fired, because he was smart enough to know, 45, that there was a merger that was supposed to take place between, I think it was CBS and Tiffany and Paramount, okay? And that merger needed government approval. So when Trump has got his 16 million, bang, bang, here, approved, go carry on with the merger. The price for that was two things: getting rid of Colbert, and that he was promised, I'm pretty sure it was $20 million in basically free advertising, and the CBS had to start being favorable to Trump and not reporting the truth, basically. And they caved. They caved and they agreed. And that's the tragedy of all of this, okay? There was a fifth estate created for exactly what's going on right now. It was created so that it could independently report on politics, on all levels, right? Local, state, federal, whatever. And some of these big organizations are failing. They're failing to fulfill the role they were designed for, because unfortunately, it's all boils down to advertising money, right? And ratings. The higher your ratings, the more money you can charge for your commercials. So unfortunately, I don't think CBS is going to come out the winner in this situation. We'll see. So, when people get angry at something, they very often boycott it. It will be interesting to see what CBS's numbers are like, what their rating numbers are like. People who may have to have a subscription, how those drop, because as a few other organizations found out, CNN, when they tried to pivot, they lost tons of viewers. Significant people have never forgiven MSNBC for sort of pivoting when it came to Biden retiring or not retiring. So really, a lot of this stuff is it is literally the legacy media letting Trump rule the roost. And you would think that they would watch places like Harvard, and they would watch the law firms that said, forget it, we're not playing your game. But for whatever reason, I guess this merger was more important than CBS's integrity, their viewership, and everything else. So let's take a look, shall we? Oh, also, there is so much sort of noise going on about Colbert. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm not getting clarity on that because, one time you look at it and it says he's moved to CNN, and then the next thing you look at, it's Rachel Maddow and Steve Colbert are going to come together to have a show. Until things settle a bit, I think it's up in the air, and I suspect that honestly, I suspect that he is going through his offers and options. But let's look at CBS, the corporation. And I think it's just all the more noticeable because simultaneous to that, you have the Wall Street Journal thing, right, and the Murdochs. And then you can see where one group at this point is going to fight, and the other group just capitulated. Alrighty, here we go. Just going to look at this sort of broadly. So CBS current trajectory, CBS current trajectory, CBS current trajectory. They are taking an absolute beating elsewhere, right? All of the talk show people have blasted them and made fun of them, and um, other news outlets. There's all kinds of stuff on YouTube about it, and I'm sure on some of the other outlets. Okay, let's see. So we're starting off with the Ten of Cups. This is sort of not surprising, right? Because this represents the idea of the merger and the power they will have and the assets they will have amassed and whatever. And so that was like a real focus and priority, all right? Like that's what was happening. When there was this recognition that um, the king of BS could simply put his thumb on a scale somewhere and that merger wouldn't be approved. So they're like, okay, we fold, basically. These are the things that we consider important for, I don't know, this quarter, this calendar year, whatever it is. And we're pushing forward with that. We're going ahead with that. Oh, and part of the price is hiring probably the most popularly rated show's host. Yeah, that makes sense. And they didn't even, they tried to get around it by saying that the entire show was being shut down. And that he wasn't being fired as much as for financial reasons. They were simply shutting it down. And that is crap, in my humble opinion. Alrighty. So what happens now? You've sort of said, fine, we'll play by your rules, right? Well, what happens? They're taking a firestorm of criticism because I think people are getting really tired of not being able to turn to any sort of news organization and not have to work your way through the bias. Liberal, conservative, NDP, Republican, the GOP, like it everybody's, you're trying to sort out the facts versus somebody's opinion of the facts. But they're getting a lot of static because it was seen as such a huge surrender, right? Make no mistake, they are going to lose viewers. The viewers are not happy with them. They're already annoyed that they can't get the Epstein files. They're already annoyed that things aren't going his way. And so people are saying, you know what, like enough. If I can't trust you to give me at least kind of a story, we have a problem. More so, you took away like one of my favorite late night television hosts. And so now I'm really angry at you about that too. So they're going to experience some serious loss. And this is the thing, you've got the Eight of Wands here. But what it feels like is, yes, things are moving very, very quickly, but it feels like every time you turn around, this is going to be another shot of communication and something else that came out. Whistleblower from Colbert himself, or, people who work for CBS, whatever it is. It's going to be sort of like one fling after another. So it's going to keep this in sort of the spotlight for a while. And so that's going to be interesting, right? Because you've got this going on. And then on the other hand, you've got 45 distracting from the whole Epstein problem. And then the whole lawsuit with, the Murdochs. So there's going to be a lot of distraction going on, certainly in the next week. So do your best to stay sane. The problem is that CBS felt they didn't have an option. And when it comes right down to it, they made the decision where they felt they didn't risk as much. But harsh judgment will be passed on them by people who choose to watch their channel, and their affiliate. So, but judgment's coming for them. And when it boils right down at the very bottom, it's about money. It's about them making money. It's about them paying off money. It's about them, once again, ensuring that the wealthy get wealthier. All right. Okay. So where we're at right now is they're continuing to sort of try to sell this like romanticized, clean version, but every day it's going to get worse in terms of the truth coming out and what was going on behind the scenes, etc. And honestly, I believe, like most corporations, it's going to be very hard for them to stand in that spotlight and come out, smelling like a rose. There's a lot of stress and friction going on behind the scenes, not surprisingly. And when it comes right down to it again, listen, these people in authority are sticking by what they've done. They can see it's a big blowout. But these people are completely motivated by the numbers. And whether it's ratings or advertising dollars or any other kind of income or outgo. And if they can make the dollars make sense, that's what they're going to do. And since CBS had already been sort of punished and needed to settle whatever they settled, they were already weakened. And it's not surprising that somebody in 45's orbit went for the juggler on this. All right. Thank you very, very much for being here. Don't forget to put your questions for Pendulum Friday in the comment section below. Thank you for all of your ongoing support and encouragement. It is so greatly appreciated. Until Pendulum Friday, you take care and be well. Bye for now.